What's up? What's up? What's up, Bills Mafia? Scott coming at you from 24/7 Buff Pandemonium with this week's episode of the K-Gun Report. I am your host, Scott. I introduced myself just now. Welcome to the Bills Mafia, a Buff fan base sponsored 26 shirt sponsored show. We have a fun show for you guys today. We have a couple friends from BWO, the Buffalo World Order. Co-host Jared is joining us, my brother from the same mother. And we've got a kind of an episode. Want to get your guys' keyboards ready because it's a fun one. We're bringing the content to the fans, the fam that are watching and joining in. We're going to talk anything Buffalo Bills. The theme for today is Hopeful 2025. So tell us what you're hopeful for. Obviously, a Super Bowl is what we're all hopeful for, but let us know in the comments what you want to talk about. We'll talk about that. All right. Let me get this going. We'll see you in a second.
24/7 Buff Pandemonium presents the K-Gun Report with special guest, two-time 24/7 Buff Pandemonium Fantasy Football Champion, Ryan Thomas.
Obviously,
that's the wrong one.
So Ryan Thomas is not joining us today.
I was like, wait, they're introducing me?
So which one are you insulting, me or
Sorry.
Corey here?
Right, you.
I know, right? Well, I apologize, guys. Swank ran out of power. He would be hosting tonight, but I am the guy. I get on my computer, and of course, I'm not wearing headphones because my sound is all jacked up for some reason, and so that's the way it is sometimes in the business of podcasting, streaming live to the family out there in the social media world. But without further ado, I want to introduce to you. I'll start with you up at the top here from the BWO. The Buffalo World Order. We have two guests. Patrick, what's up? Welcome to the show. Last minute, of course, but thanks for joining.
Hey, that's just how things work out, you know. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome. I know Patrick and the BWO that you guys go live every Monday. You talk to a bunch of us 24/7 Buff Pandemonium fantasy footballers. So you talk a lot of football there. You guys are reaching out to the wrestling community as well. You're trying to combine the two. And on Thursdays at 8, you guys also go live and talk some Buffalo Bills football with Corey down here and Buffalo Spartan. But Corey, Wednesday. That's right. You changed it. Changed it to Wednesdays. Corey, what's up, brother? Tell us a little bit about the BWO and what you guys are doing as a fan first perspective in that regard.
Oh, man, like Pat said, thank you guys for inviting football with our brothers. So thank you guys for having us. And yeah, like Scooter and Pat both said, check us out on BWO Wednesday nights. We talk Bills football pretty much 90%, and then the last half or the last few minutes is some wrestling stuff if we get a chance. If we try to always throw that in there. But this week especially, I know I'm kind of stealing Pat's thunder here. I'm surprised he didn't say it, but we have a special guest. Wait, can I say it?
Go for it.
We already put it out who it was, right? Yeah. We'll have a special guest this week if you guys want to tune in tomorrow night. Bill's dad, the one that sings the songs every week. If everyone knows, I think he moved down to Florida now. So
Yep.
I think Pat was able to talk to him and get him on. So yeah, thank you guys for having us, man. Can't wait to talk Bills football tonight.
Oh, heck yeah. Dick DeGroat, he's been to the regular season Rager. Bill's dad, you all see him, like Corey said, for the content that he creates as far as parody songs about the Buffalo Bills. Love it. A big fan of ours. Does a good job.
Yeah.
You guys will love him. And without further ado, brother from the same mother, Jerry Reed. What's up, Jerry? What you doing down there?
It's been a little bit of a break here that I've had. They're finally paying me what I've been asking for, which is nice, which is nothing, just time. And I love it. So I'm glad I'm back. Talk Bills football with everybody, representing the FLX Mafia. I'm hanging out in the Finger Lakes area out here, and I just can't wait to chat it up. Like Scott said, we're just going to leave it up to the comments and just talk football. And if you want to talk more than football, we can, but let's just do it. Let's do it.
So you got the 20% increase in pay?
Yeah. 0 times 20 is 0. But like I mentioned in the intro, guys, we are part of the Buff Fan Base Network, and we're sponsored by 26 Shirts as well. If you haven't hit up 26 Shirts, it's a charitable thing that the Bills Mafia started a long time ago. Del Reed and crew did that, and they come up with a clever, a very fun idea of a T-shirt idea and stuff. And any of the purchases for that the money goes to help a Western New York family in need. So go to 26shirts.com, check them out. And I always tell people, be sure to read the story below the shirt that you're purchasing, because it gives you a little bit of a download of what kind of family you're supporting and their backstory. For sure. And obviously, this show, we've had StreamYard issues for the last couple of weeks. The show is also sponsored by the Buffalo World Order. You guys know that we like to hit up the comments right away, right off the bat. Corey Blaine, who just left us rapidly. Who's the good looking guy in the blue jersey and nice beard? I don't know, Corey, you're gone. Patrick. Always there you go. Doug Augie. Hey, all. Welcome to Tuesday and another day to be thankful. I'm not a Dolphins fan. Oh, man, there's a lot of drama going on there in Miami, isn't there? Adams B Day. Adam B's daddy. Okay, I thought you said Adams B Day. I was going to say happy birthday, Adam, but I got to learn to read things before I click on them. This is Sparta. What's up, Buffalo Spartan? He says, what's up, boys? Patrick, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you do a Mafia mount up?
Sure. Mafia, mount up.
There you go, the Patrick Hughes way. Mary Jane Brown Hughes, Mafia, let's go. What's up, Mary? Welcome. Ellen Lartz, the lovely Ellen Lartz. Yo, everyone, let's get cracking and celebrate Bills football. I'm not cracking anything today. I'm enjoying one of those what they call it, transfusions, the stuff that the golfers drink. A little vodka, grape juice, ginger ale, and lime juice. Tasty, tasty, tasty. Jared, what are you drinking?
I'll give you one guess, Scott.
A little, what kind of whiskey?
It's not whiskey. One more guess.
Oh, garage beer.
Nope. Dad's cider.
Oh, there you go. There you go. We don't tell people that Dad makes cider in my basement, Jared. Let's keep that a secret.
I won't tell anybody he has 14%. Whatever.
There you go, Patrick. What's up, buddy? Are you drinking anything today?
Just water for today. It was a long day out in the sun, so.
That's right. You are a Floridian. What's the weather been like there?
Very humid.
Very humid. We actually had, as Corey alluded to earlier, we had a tornado come through upstate New York here in the Phelps, Newark area. E2, they classified EF2, which is a pretty good sized tornado. We haven't had one of those in forever. So that's a scary thought. I wonder if insurance companies and all that stuff are going crazy. Corey, you drinking anything tonight? All right, I didn't hear a word Corey said. Anybody else here, Corey?
No.
Well, me neither. It's all right, Corey. Turn on the mic, bud. It might be me, guys. But guys, fan first perspective show. We always have been. This is our 6th year doing it. Today is a day that we're bringing the comments in.
Nah, man, just Mountain Dew and water, pretty much.
It's delayed.
I had the kiddo all day, so.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, big time delayed. 24/7 Buff Pandemonium brought to you in part by friends of BW. Oh, you got it right, Buffalo Spartan. Spartan, take a look at the top right-hand corner there. BWO, we got the sponsorship tag up there. Pretty sweet. It was me. They left me out like RT. I'm sorry, bud. Ellen Lartz, hopefully we don't have any severe injuries during the season. That being said, let's go Bills. The theme of today is hopeful 2025. And obviously that's one of the things we're hopeful for is a healthy roster. John Roberts says rookies start training camp on the 16th and veterans training camp starts the 23rd. So let's start with John Roberts' comment there. Of the rookies that the Bills drafted, obviously they brought in a whole bunch of defensive draft picks this year. Jared, I'll start with you. Obviously we want our rookies to be successful. And obviously we got a number 1 pick that there's a lot of pressure on. Is there anybody other than Maxwell Hairston that you're hopeful will take a step into someone that's going to make a significant impact in 2025?
Yeah, I'm going to go right to the end there. I hope Prather comes in and makes a name for himself right off the bat. We know he has the speed that he can get downfield with. If the coaches can get to him and the trainers can get to him to get his lower body in check, maybe take some pointers from Shakir and how to make those cuts and break down. I'm hoping that he can make a name for himself again. He's the last pick that the Bills had. And you hope that that's not necessarily a bad thing. He was picked by an NFL team, right? So he does have potential there, and I hope the potential shines. In a busy wide receiver room, I hope he makes a cut again. Deep threat, tall, big, just got to get his waist and hips underneath him so he can make those cuts, and I hope he does. That's
So,
one
boys-
guy. But
So, boys, what Jared
ahead.
tends to do is he loves picking the underdog. So if they had 15 rounds in this draft, Jared would go the 15 round and running back. He's always good for that, which also obviously leaves a lot of meat on the bone for a lot of us to pick and choose who we want.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, we're going to test out your connection right now, Corey, see if you're still delayed. Jared picked Prather, Caden Prather, wide receiver. Jared, good choice. Is there anybody other than our first rounder that you're hopeful will make step to become a significant impact? Yeah, I got a big delay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Corey.
Poor
Restart
Corey.
computer. Okay. I love your takes, brother. You have great takes, but I'm gonna kick you off. Restart. Patrick, I asked the question. Give me an answer.
My take is definitely a Walker. I think we got him at a really good spot, great value at that spot. He should have gone much higher, but hey, the fact that he was still there and Brandon Bean had the wherewithal to pick him up, and again, big body guy for the defense. I think that's a guy that I think we need those right now, especially on that line. You saw with the Philadelphia Eagles, the easiest way they won the Super Bowl was get to the quarterback. Well,
Yep.
in the AFC, in order to dominate with all the quarterbacks that are in the conference, yeah, got to get to them.
I agree with you, Patrick. One of those situations where we knew the Bills had impact the draft based on run defense because that was a weakness. Then they bump up and get TJ Sanders. So I honestly thought, okay, I have a feeling we're going after two defensive linemen here. And then when Deion Walker was still available, I was like, holy cow, we're getting ourselves a beast. And lo and behold, they grabbed him, picked him up. And they did. Hopefully, he can do some magic. I think what knocked him back a little bit potentially was I think he's got a back injury of some sort. But he's on the mend, so hopefully that's not a big issue. Bruce McKellar, what's up, Dr. Bruce? Bruce is in the house. He says, "Go Bills!" Season ticket holder, a guy that's during the season constantly keeps us informed on some of these injuries. Lonnie Cook says, "Hi, my sons." Patrick Hughes says, "What's up, Doc?" Kevin Kanye, one of the OGs. Howdy, boys. Go Bills. What's up, Kevin? Joey Hatch. What's up, Joey? What's good on my Buffalo Bills brothers and sisters? 12th Man Mafia. He runs that page, guys. If you're following, join the 12-Man Mafia page for sure. Joey
shout
Hatch.
out to Dwayne. You said the young man they brought in to push that defensive line, but shout out to Dwayne Carter. Sorry for him. His recent marriage to his beautiful wife. Congratulations. But this is kind of like his rookie season too for me because he got injured early last year, and I think he's got something to prove. We all see what happens after a season where they get to sit back and take it all in to see how the defensive line. He still has something to prove, but I think the mental part of it might have had the chance to catch up with him being on the sidelines. But now he's a happily married man. Now he's just got to focus and come forward and dominate that line. So I'm happy for him coming in. I know he's not a rookie, but
yeah, no, congratulations, Dwayne Carter. Yeah, he got married on the 5th.
Walker.
Oh, you said it. You corrected yourself. He definitely social media friendly. He posted all over the place, but that looked like he had a fun time for sure. Joey Hatch says TJ Sanders is someone that he's hopeful for. I believe he still has not signed his contract.
He has not.
He has not. So something interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Any of you guys have any insight of is there a clause? Is there a guaranteed money that he wants? Does he think he's valued more because they traded picks up to get him? What's the issue with that? Anybody know?
I think that there's just somebody telling him to hold out for more when it's like, look, it's a bargaining agreement and a rookie deal. They can't give you any more. They have to give you it's pretty much set in stone what they give for each draft pick at each spot. So it's like, fine, you want to hold out, but you're going to ruin whatever NFL career you could have had.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I believe what happens if they do hold out, then they can enter the next year's draft, which you haven't played in a year. I mean, that's going to affect your stock. And if you think you're going to get money then you kind of outside your mind, if you ask me.
Well, the question is, I mean, you brought it up. Do they go back into the draft, or because remember, Jim Kelly was drafted and he didn't show up right away. He went to a whole nother league, but the Bills maintained his rights for a couple of years. So when the USFL folded, he became a Buffalo Bills because they still held his rights. I
He was
think
on
that's
his last year.
I
Yeah.
think the rules are different though now than they were in 84, 85. What year was Kelly drafted?
83.
Oh damn, you're right. But who knows? But
Yeah, from what
anyway,
I've heard, he will be eligible. He will be eligible in the next year's draft if he doesn't sign a contract this year. Back when Kelly did it, there was different rules. I feel the Bills actually had his clause for 3 years, I think, and that last year when the other league faltered, Kelly had one more year on his contract with Buffalo, so he decided to go there. So yeah,
there you go. What's up, Corey? Welcome back, friend. Yeah, sometimes
Oh
you just
my gosh.
he's on time. Yes, it works.
That was
it's
so
one of
nuts.
those things.
you had to get off that Buffalo Spartan internet, huh?
Dude, it had me sweating for a minute. I was like, ah.
Oh no.
No, I
So
think
not
Ken,
everybody
booted
knows
out the
this.
first time it messed up.
Not everybody knows this, but 3 weeks ago when I was trying to get on, or no, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was on my computer until 9:20 trying to get on, and my computer just was not for some reason working. And then I finally realized that there was someone put a DVD in my DVD part, and it was trying to read that instead of go on the computer. So I'm sitting there for 50 minutes before the show going, come on, come on, come on. Don't worry, guys, I'm coming. And Scott and Swank are just sitting there waiting for me. But we're
Mine
here.
was Roblox. The kid had like 15 different Roblox things going in the background, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the story of it.
That's the thing. I always have to check and see if anything's running. So anybody that's thinking about doing podcasts, live streaming, you got your own computer, your headphones and set up, clear everything off that computer if you can help
Sounds
it.
great.
Yeah, you sound great now. You're on time, brother. Landon Jackson says Kevin Kanye. We're still on the topic
Yeah.
of who are we most hopeful there. Corey, we'll get to you after I hit these comments up. But Landon Jackson, we need more pressure on the QB spot. I believe that, again, I was surprised when he was still there. Another one of those guys, and I think the Bills were too. That's why they went and grabbed him. Going to be looking forward to seeing Maxwell Harrison do well in his first year. Hell yeah. Doug Augie says, "What's up, Kevin?" I love it when these all these guys go back and forth with each other.
I got a question for all you guys. When you're watching the NFL player get drafted, when you watch them, does their emotional reaction play a part in your decision or your thought process of how well he's going to do in the NFL or how well his work ethic will be? Do you ever think about that?
I mean, I that first with Kyer Elam about how he wants the playbook. He's going to get in and work. And we all know the story behind the rest of that. But I like Maxwell Harrison's answer. My job is to get Josh Allen the ball. So that enough for me was motivational enough to hope and pray that he is successful this year. What about you guys?
I think it's a yes or a no in a no situation. It really does depend on the player. I mean, there are some players that just aren't that naturally over zealous people. Like we saw with James Cook when he first got drafted. He didn't look very excited, but it didn't mean he wasn't. That's just the type of, from what people say, that's just the type of person he is. So it's hard to tell until you know for sure what these guys' personalities are. I mean, it's cool to see when they're excited. Don't get me wrong, but to me, I'd rather see what they can do on the field than kind of their emotional state.
Right. What say you, Corey?
I agree with what Pat just said there at the end. Definitely. I mean, even at first, I was skeptical of James Cook when I was like, this guy doesn't look excited for anything, man. Like, and then you learn that that's just the person, you know? So, I mean, even that, the one that we just drafted there, the Landon Jackson, the dude I was like, I don't really know about that kid. And then I guess he was tearing it up in the camp already, or that they did. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, word to the wise. If anybody wants to look up Landon Jackson, don't look up his freshman year when he's at Arkansas.
Yeah.
No, actually look that up. This is what I'm talking about. Look that up compared to what he's doing now. And then when he was drafted, he was crying and he was excited. So there's, like you said, Patrick, there's the A part and the B part and the C part, right? The emotion that he does when he gets drafted, how he developed in college, and now can you take that emotion and apply it to the field, and what kind of performance does he have on the field? Because if he was crying and emotionally connected to being drafted, and then he goes and he's a monster. Then you knew that he was in it. He was in it from the beginning, and that just makes that whole ride a lot better. And yeah, like you're right though, it does make a difference between player to player because James Cook had straight face, and he might mean I mean business. I'm getting drafted. I'm going to play ball, and I totally get that.
You get the other aspect where there are guys that just are not excited to come because they hear all the stories about Buffalo, the weather's bad, whatever. But then they get there and they take in the fan base, they take in the city, and they're like, "Damn, I love it here."
Yep.
So,
I don't know if you guys have followed the story out of Cincinnati, that Shamar Turner guy that was drafted. He's causing quite a bit of ruckus. Obviously, he had a stink face and a resting bitch face when he was drafted, but he's causing issues now, not signing. He wants more money. And he's causing quite the stink. He's one of those people that might not play for the Bengals. Bad attitude, all that stuff. I feel bad for Cincinnati Bengals fans who were hyped about him and seeing what his true personality is. Corey, we talked about the rookies that we're most hopeful for. You lost your opportunity in the beginning. I'm going to give you a rebuttal here, my friend. We've got Jared. Who'd you say? You said Caden Prather. Remind me who you said, Patrick. You said Deion Walker. All right. Who do you think out of the group?
Mine out of rookies. Mine. I said it the other day on our show is Landon Jackson. Like I said, they've been talking about him at the camps. I mean, I don't know if right out of the bat there's potential for him to start, but they were talking about he could eventually be a potential starter, and great pick that we got later than, so I'm really excited to see what he can do. Obviously, Maxwell Harrison, that's all in itself. That just speaks for itself. Like he said, get Josh the ball. So hopefully he's able to do that and learn the little things he does. But yeah, man, I'm hopeful for, like I said, Jackson and some of these later picks we got to maybe step up and be some great picks, turn out to be, young guys, the new guys that are going to be coming up for the older guys that'll be stepping out in the next years or two.
Well, the situation has become pretty sexy now for Landon Jackson, with Hoyt being suspended for 6 games, Bosa being injured with the calf strain. I mean, right now is the perfect opportunity with that rotational defense between
Right.
Russo and Epinesa for someone like Landon Jackson to prove his worth and make the most out of his opportunity. So this preseason should be fun, guys. With these 2 suspensions, is going to open up this front 7 competitively for those spots. It's going to be crazy to watch. Bruce McCullough answered the question about Deion Walker's injury. It was a lumbar spinous process fracture, markedly limited his play consistently in his last year. Hopefully he'll be healed and ready to go. He's a beast when healthy. So I'm also in the medical field, Bruce. For those of you who don't know, the spinous process is the pointy part of your spine. I don't think there's any nerve or spinal cord risk. It's just a painful thing, and if you get a floating bone, it can drift and all that good stuff. John Robert answered the question about TJ Sanders. I think he wants more guaranteed money. I don't blame him. Joey Hatch, the second-round pick is a guarantee number, and I don't think that right, I guess, is what I read in an article that changed the rule within the last 2 years. He's talking about the money in TJ Sanders. Yes, the bargaining agreement has established a certain amount of money for each pick. So I don't think he has a pot to piss in as far as I'm concerned. Pardon my language again when it comes to negotiating the amount of money, but the guarantee I think is a different situation, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Doug Augie loves seeing the emotion. James Cook draft was underwhelming, yes, but again, I think we can all agree. We've mentioned that's part of his personality. You're going to get that. We'll actually see it tomorrow, right, Jared? James Cook is in a running backs camp here at Bishop Kearney up here in New York and Rochester area. And my kid, my Jack, 8 years old, Jared's Everett, 8 years old, are very excited to go and do some running back drills with James Cook. That's going to be something.
If he can't smile with a bunch of kids, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
But that might be the population. You may see a bunch of smiles and all that stuff out of him because, sometimes adults can be, what's.
Yeah, true.
It's a topic that we brought up a bunch of times while we're going through the comments, guys. Corey, start with you. How much do we pay James Cook? Give me a year and amount.
Nice.
Corey, you're up, man. Tell
All right,
me
I
how
think it's
much.
delayed.
He's delayed again. Poor guy's delayed. Yeah, Corey, you're out. Pat,
Poor Corey.
he's looking at
Uh,
that. That nice came back from what we were originally talking about. I didn't realize that till just a second ago. Patrick and Jared, I'm going to you both quick. Give me how many years and how much per year he's getting. Include incentives if you want there for a total.
I would say 2 years, 24 million, which will give him about 12 million each year. I think, and again, that's also going to be based on what we see him do this year. But I think that's in more. If he has a similar year that he did last season, I think that's well within the possibility.
Yep. What's up, Jared? You're a big advocate for James Cook. What are you telling me?
Yeah. I'm thinking. I'm expecting him to have close to the same year that he had last year, and I'm expecting him to do that for 3 or 4 more years. So let's pay him right off the bat. We're gonna go 4 years, $10 million, but each year, 4 years, $10 million each year. But there's going to be $5 million each year in incentives, and I'm thinking he's going to have to hit the 15 TD mark, and he's going to have to get 1350 rushing yards and maybe 500 passing yards. I think if he hits that mark consistently, he'll get what he wants at 15. But each year is going to start out at 10.
Yeah.
There you go. I think a lot of the fans have that kind of range. They're not hitting the 15 without incentives. They're hitting, if you're getting 15, you're getting incentives as well. Joey Hatch is 4 years, 12 million a year with incentives to make 15 over 1,200. Yep. I like it. I think incentives, that's one of those positions where I think incentives plays a big part, right? As a player that gets touches, any player, wide receiver, running back, there's goals that you reach. Usually running back is 1,000-yard mark. Running back sometimes is 10 plus touchdowns. So make that an incentive. He's only provided that big of a year one time. Granted, 16 touchdowns. There's about 6 or 7 guys ahead, the 13 to that range. So it's not like it's nothing that can't be obtainable, because it was obtainable by a bunch of running backs this year. But yeah, I like the whole incentive conversation. And I do agree. I think it's something that's going to have to come within the next couple of years. As Doug Augie mentioned, he does get $5 million this year. There's not a lot of money to be moved around this year to increase that amount. And this is the year where he's making his money out of his rookie contract. I mean, he was making 6 figures, I believe, up until this point a year. Now is a big market year. He likes his money. I can see him playing, and hopefully, I don't think he should get paid, but I would like to see him put up those numbers again.
Now, let's remember he averaged about 5 yards a carry his career too.
Cook gets 3 years, 35 mil, 25 guaranteed. There you go. Joey Hatch, I believe Keon Coleman was guaranteed 80%. Oh, they're talking about the guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I know we talked offense or defensive rookie, or not defensive rookies, but just rookies in general. Hopeful 2025. We'll split the category here, offense and defense, because that's how they do a lot of things here in the NFL. Offensive, hopeful. What are you guys hoping for? And fans, jump in, join in, bring up topics you want to talk about. This is your show today. Fan first perspective. We're going to talk about anything, but we're talking about mostly what we're hopeful for. Patrick, I'll start with you. Offensively, we got an MVP coming back. We got 5 linemen coming back. Wide receiver core looks like it's revamped. What's the biggest thing you're hopeful for in the offense in 2025?
To be perfectly honest with you, that they didn't change a damn thing from last year.
Right.
It worked. Especially for Josh Allen's career's sake too. I mean, look, you just said it. He won the league MVP, least amount of turnovers in a season ever by him and the offense under McDermott and Allen together. So, and the everybody eats mentality, just that needs to be the new, like they always put the championship caliber or playoff caliber stuff. Get rid of that and just go with the everybody eats mentality, because it worked. And if they can get it going a little bit more, I don't think anybody can stop it.
There you go. And as far as the offense goes, I hope they don't change a thing. Is there, because the wide receiver is a big talk. Obviously, the James Cook conversation, Jared. I'm going to come to you back, but I would just a double part of the question for Patrick. Out of the wide receivers, because that seems to be the biggest conversation. It was for some reason during the draft. We brought in Palmer. Shakir signed a contract. Keon Coleman's come back from injury. Elijah Moore and Palmer signed. Is there any one of those that you're like really excited to hopefully take that next step and be like, holy cow, he's a Buffalo Bill. He's gonna.
Well,
I know Elijah only signed 1 year, but what wide receiver are you most hopeful for specifically?
Shakir mostly. Again, I know we've seen some good things from him, but in my opinion, I still don't think we've scratched the surface of what he's truly capable of with that team. And again, last year was the first full season with Joe Brady being able to call plays with that offense. Now he's got a whole nother season, and let's be honest, they always Matthew Berry and them always used to say with the fantasy football on ESPN is follow the money. Well, they paid Shakir, so and they didn't do that for no reason. So
Right. Jared, who are you hopeful for offensively?
Man, our offense, Patrick, I'm right there with you. Hopefully, they don't change much. Hopefully, they add to it because now they have another year. If they're running with the same thing, they can add to it. And you're right. Their offense was pretty much. How many games did we win by more than 2 scores? So our offense is legit. So what I'm hopeful for, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit when you're talking about earlier, Scott, is that 5 offensive linemen stays healthy once again. If they do, then that whole everyone eats thing is just going to run rampant. And it's going to be great. As long as those hog mollies up front stay healthy, this offense can do anything and everything. Like you said last week or 2 weeks ago, Scott, I think when you have a set of linemen that play together for a whole season and the next season to come together, it's the same group. They have this cohesiveness that they've learned over 1 year. And when they get back together, they're just going to mesh earlier and better. And I'm hoping that grows and all the guys behind them learn from it. And Alec Anderson, who was dancing kind of funky at the wedding this past or 2 weekends ago, they just become a juggernaut up front. And if that happens, then Allen's going to feed all these individuals on this offense. And you're not going to see 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard rusher, a 100-yard reception receiver. You're going to see everyone eating. And that's what we hope. The whole everyone eats montage is kind of it's you got to be efficient with it because everyone's going to get their opportunities. It depends on what the end number result is. So if Josh Allen's getting protected, he's going to make things easier for these guys, and that's going to be it. Hog Molly, stay healthy. That's what I'm hopeful for.
There you go. Corey, welcome again.
Dude, I love you boys.
Well, we talked about the rookies that came
Get
in.
him to him quick before he loses it. Get him to him quick before we lose it.
Right. Hurry.
Offensively. As an offense, who are you most hopeful for on the offensive side of the ball?
Like Jared just said, the offensive line. Yo, fuck.
No, let's keep going. You're going. You're good.
I'm over it.
Love you, buddy.
Oh my
We'll talk to you in a few weeks here.
Love you guys.
Join Corey and Patrick on
Yeah,
Wednesday
man.
at 8 o'clock. BWO. Corey, your internet's trash right now. Sorry, bud. Love you.
Hey, we've been there. We've all been there. So
haven't we?
I think he's one of those New York Jersey Jets routers.
Yep.
There you go. A little behind. John Roberts says Brandon Beane has never signed a running back past his rookie contract. Now, granted, you sign rookies for 3, 4, 5 years. He's only been there since not long at all. He came in with LaShawn McCoy, so he was already on contract. And then they drafted Devin Singletary. Proof is in the pudding with John Robert. He did not re-sign him. We know Singletary went on to the Houston Texans. Zach Moss was a running back they brought in. Indianapolis obviously obtained him over the years. James Cook, I believe, is the next running back that brought in. So it'll be interesting to see if they do make that step. You're right. Brandon Beane has not been a guy that traditionally has signed the running back onto a second year. And then obviously Ray Davis will be there too. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes from here on out. we have had running backs in the past perform. I was a fan of LaShawn McCoy. I believe we all were, 1,000-yard rusher. Singletary obviously didn't get a lot of carries. I think his biggest year was 188 carries, but he did average like 4.6, 4.8 yards a rush, which is nothing to hang loosely there. And then James Cook came in. Interesting conversation. I mean, the whole James Cook thing can be a whole show.
Yeah.
On defense, I want us to be able to get after the quarterback more and riddle them. Yes, I think the Bills tried their best in the drafts to do that. We started with the offense most hopeful for. Jared, I'll start with you this time. Who on this defense are you the most hopeful for? To be that guy that's like, yep, there he is, or be that guy that's like, oh my gosh, he's coming into his own. He's going to be dangerous in Buffalo for a while.
I'm going to start this out by saying the Buffalo Bills defense has been and will remain as a bend but don't break type defense. I don't think that's going to change, but I think the pressure will increase this year with the new guys that they brought in. What I'm hopeful for, and this is a big thing that made the Buffalo Bills defense successful last year, is that they continue to strip and get interceptions and force those turnovers. I'm hoping that the teachings of how to strip and get the ball loose and cover and take advantage of overthrows or underthrows for the interception continues, and each of these individuals learn more and more each year, so that continues. Because if there's one stat that's going to be leading to wins on defense, is that turnover ratio. If we're winning that every game, and if we're at top of the league by the end of the season, we're going to have more wins than losses. And that's just how the cookie crumbles, even if we have a bad offense. So I'm hopeful that this turnover ratio, this turnover defense of Buffalo Bills continues. If there's a player that I'm hopeful for, is I want to see Bernard, if he can, take this next step and just become one of those linebackers that top 6 in the NFL, but I hope he becomes number 1 in the NFL and he gets recognized as one of the best linebackers in the league. So I'm hopeful for our linebacker core, especially that guy in the middle who came out of nowhere, where we're all wondering what was going to happen 3 seasons ago. And he appeared and he showed up and he just annihilated and played defense well. So
Bernard,
I'm hopeful for him and I can't wait to watch him play. Number 8 this year.
I know,
yes,
he changed,
right? Yep.
New look and everything. Bernard was one of those guys that followed a lot of all-pro seasons. And Bernard had one of those all-pros. I mean, similar numbers to Milano, but didn't get dubbed an all-pro. So he's got that potential. I'm definitely excited for this linebacker core. I got a follow-up question for the both of you based on the linebackers. But, Patrick, I'm going to let you answer that question. Most hopeful for defensively in 2025?
I actually have 2 of them. One is Cole Bishop. Just like everybody says with Keon Coleman's got to, take a next step forward. Well, so does Cole Bishop. And I kind of hope he takes, goes in the direction where he can start becoming that leader role that we saw with like a guy like Poyer and Hyde. I know he's not going to be all of a sudden that talented with like those guys right off the bat, but man, those guys were out there and they were a vocal part. And I think that's one of the things our defense kind of lacked last year was a true single leader out there for them. The other guy is, and he just got a contract, and I'm hoping with all the additions, especially up front with him, I'm hoping to see Greg Rousseau finally get either hit the double-digit sack or get close to it. I think he needs to, again, we said it, they need to get to the quarterback. Well, I'm hoping he's the one that's kind of getting there and putting most of them into the turf. So
I'm with you 100%, Patrick. If I was to be the most hopeful for, I'm most hopeful for, we can call them veterans now, AJ Epinesa, Gregory Rousseau. They brought in Bosa because they feel they need to bring him in. They drafted all these rookies because they feel that there was holes that need to be filled, whether it's run defense, creating pressure on a quarterback, all this stuff. If I was Rousseau and Epinesa, I would kind of take they don't, but I would think they take a little offense to that. It's like we need to perform. We need to show that we are more than just run stoppers and game managers, because that's what that defense is all about. They're not a defense that thrives around getting to the quarterback 50 plus times in the season, 60 plus times in the season. They're like Jared said, a defensive group that creates the pressures, creates the knockdowns, rattles the quarterback, and forces them to make mistakes. And I would, as Russo and Epinesa this year, I'm most hopeful for them because I do believe it's a year with the rookies and the Bosa bring in that it's kind of like the time to say, enough's enough. We've got it. We've got it handled, and that's how we're going to do things here. I
I
promise.
got one more. I got one more
There's
for you.
more. Hey, just for everyone following and watching, this is a Fan First Perspective show. This show's about you guys, so bring in the topics. We're talking about topics you guys are bringing up, and leave a comment for sure. We'll jump on it.
I think a lot of Bills Mafia are going to be hopeful for a certain number 27. I think he's wearing 27 this year to re-sign with the Bills to come in and have a Trey White-esque season, even if it's not his best season, to be consistent, be healthy all year, and contribute to this defense. I think if we're hopeful Bills Mafia and we see that happen, I think again this Bills defense. There's a lot of things that if it happens, this defense will be successful. And I think Bernard playing well, and if Trey White is coming in and playing well, that's just going to be, something wonderful to watch the whole season. So I'm hopeful for Trey White too.
Boys, I brought this up before. Having Trey White on our defense, obviously they brought in a bunch of rookies, but it's not a bad situation to have him be your 5 or 6 cornerback. Am I right, Patrick?
No, I mean, like I said, he could still easily still be number 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw it last year against when we played the Ravens in the playoffs. He was their most dominant defensive player in that game. So if he's, I mean, I don't expect him to be 100% Trey White like we've seen in the past, but if he's 85 or 90%, I'm very happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's one of those guys that understands the defensive scheme. He's played under McDermott, and he's not. We've got that 2 covered safeties back there. If Bishop and Rapp or whoever's playing that can hold the responsibility, then Trey White has become the cerebral enough player now to be able to undercut some of those out routes and those quick patterns. And he won't be asked to put a lot of torque on his body because he knows he's got people behind him. And it could be a beautiful situation, or it could be he's there as a mentor for our young bucks, which is a win-win, I believe, in Buffalo.
Less torque too. Less torque in a zone defense than if it was man.
Yep.
And as you guys said earlier, with the the emotions of the draft players and everything when they get drafted, man, when you heard his interview after coming back, and he pretty much told his agent, if you don't get Buffalo on the phone, don't call me.
Yep.
I'm like, we've said it for years. All we want is guys that want to be there and be in the Bills uniform. I mean, how do you argue with the guy that I know he didn't? It wasn't his doing that he left. I know it was, a money thing. We just couldn't keep him. But man, how do you not root for him coming back after hearing that?
Exactly. Exactly. Alan Lart's got to give every opposing quarterback happy feet. Let's see the defense tear some opposing quarterbacks up. There you go, Alan. John Robert reminds us that Gregory Russo is only 25. He is young, for sure.
Russo inside. That'd be something.
Mary Jane Brown Hughes says, read lots of rumors about DeMar Hamlin, hoping he will stay in Buffalo. He's my favorite. I don't see him going anywhere. I just don't see him being a starter anymore. And granted, I'm one of those guys that don't think he was given that spot because they felt bad for him. I think he earned it. He did well there, and he represented that defense well. But I think with Bishop entering his second year and such a high draft pick, and having Taylor Rapp back there, he's a Super Bowl safety. Keep in mind, Rapp is a Super Bowl safety. You got to have him back there. He's younger. I think it's time for those guys to take over.
Yeah, but Hamlin has proven them wrong, or proven everybody wrong each year, year in and year out. So that coaching staff is going to play the best players, and Hamlin's been showing up year in and year out. So he might have a fire in his ass. Yeah, I mean, look at what John just said. That's excellent. But no, Hamlin shows in year in and year out. So we'll see what happens by week 1.
All right, boys.
He's definitely improved I mean, we said it last year. We didn't even think he was going to make the roster last year, and he did. He actually he played phenomenal. I mean, he wasn't the most outstanding, but compared to what we've seen with him in the past, you can definitely see the progression of him. And you say he may not be a starter. For all we know, he could prove us wrong again and be a starter.
Yep.
Yep. He was number 3 in tackles last year, so he does come up and lay the lumber still.
There you go. And I did have a follow-up question for you guys, and I'll get there in just a second. I would be remiss to mention yet again, we are part of the Buff Fan Base Network. You see their nice little logo by me. Hit them up on X. They hang out there a lot of members there, a lot of content. And we're just getting started. Mafia Con is coming up here on the 19th. They're in Buffalo. It's a big 6 shirt thing. So keep an eye out for that. I believe they might be sold out actually. But I plan on going out there and representing 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. I'm just working some kinks out. So I'd love to see you all out there. We have 2 sponsors tonight, 26shirts.com. 26 shirts, helping a family in need. Purchase some merch to add to your collection. And at the same time, you're helping a family in need, Western New York. Remember, don't just buy the shirt. Read the story that goes along with. It's usually it's nice to know what you're doing and who you're helping. And the BWO, the Buffalo World Order, a host of the Buffalo World Order, joined us tonight. Patrick Hughes, Corey Blaine. Unfortunately, better get his internet fixed before tomorrow because you guys got a show tomorrow at 8:00. But we love having you, Patrick. Thanks for joining in. Obviously, letting us use your StreamYard. That's why you are our sponsor. You guys ready for that?
Kudos to Corey and Patrick too, because I know Scott mentioned this at the beginning. Swank lost electricity. He was told he wouldn't be getting it until about 10:30 tonight. And Scott was like, Jared, it's just us two. You want Patrick and Corey on? We're like, yes. These guys jumped on right away with like 20 minutes to spare. So thanks, Patrick, for joining us. Thanks for being there.
I mean, it's a little weird being a guest on my own StreamYard account, but hey.
All right. I'm taking over. I'm another ship. I also want to do a shout out, Jared. Jack David on the Amazon activity group. You see this jersey here? It's my Bishop jersey. Stitch lettering, everything's legit. This is the Red Rush jersey. Jared's got that Josh Allen jersey behind him. Jack David actually has an Amazon activity group promotion coming up. All I ask is you go there, you sign up, you check out the promotion. Jared, there's 3 jerseys he's giving away. Any jersey you want. All you got to do is purchase something on his Amazon account. And you tell me a little bit as a massage therapist. It's a lymphatic massager, handheld. Can you explain to the people the importance of massage and the lymphatic system? Real quick, make it quick. This is a Bill's content page.
Yeah, the lymphatic system is your immune system pretty much. And when you have cancer, you have lymph nodes removed and it prevents the flow of lymph fluid, the immunity of your body to flow. So when those lymph nodes are gone, it prevents that. So massage for lymph increases the circulation of the lymph throughout the body, which helps you fight off disease and illness and stuff. But if you're going to actually go get a lymph massage, do it by a professional. Don't use a machine. But another kudos to massage therapist. And I know people think this is fake, but it's real. I got my Allen jersey. I bought from that. I bought an awesome pair of athletic shorts that I still wear every day. Not every day, but most days. Yes. They're great. It was $16. $16 for athletic shorts that are well put together, and that jersey, which is well stitched, and it's awesome. I love wearing it. So it's legit. Don't knock them off. It's real.
Yep. So visit the Amazon activity group. Look up Jack David. He's a Bills specialist. Get your Bills jerseys, 3 of them now. The deal is like $39. So you're spending $39 for a massager and 3 jerseys. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. All right, that follow-up I had. We got 3 linebackers, guys, I think can all start for the Buffalo Bills. We know the Buffalo Bills run a nickel defense, which only requires 2. And I am talking about Terrell Bernard wearing the new number 8. Milano coming back, took a year off his contract, not only to save some cap for the team, but to kind of give himself a prove-it year. I personally believe he's on his way out. I think he's just trying to make the best of it. And then Dorian Williams, a guy that came in, replaced Milano for the first bunch of games last year. I think he led the league in tackles. If not, he was top 5. And then he was obviously benched when Milano came back. What do you guys – I'm not saying right off the bat the first 3 games, but by the time the Bills have established their identity this year, who are our players running that defense? Corey, Patrick, I'll start with you, my friend.
Well, I definitely still think Milano is going to – if he can stay healthy, is definitely going to be one of them because, again, we haven't seen a fully healthy Milano in probably a couple of years. I think that was part of the reason why he's on this prove-it deal, too. I think it's not just for him to prove to the Bills. I think it's to prove to himself that he can stay healthy, because I don't think he signs with anybody else if he doesn't. I think he's probably thinking, man, if I got another year of this injury stuff, I'm probably just done.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then I think you said Williams, dude. I think him and Milano together, especially both of them healthy. Again, if that on paper, if every piece comes together on that defense like it's supposed to, just like the offense, I don't know who's going to do anything to stop it.
There you go. There you go. Guys, we haven't seen a healthy Milano and Bernard play together. And it's like I said before, I think Milano had that all-pro year. Bernard had same numbers but missed the all-pro. Can you imagine those two fully healthy working together? It's scary. But then I miss Dorian Williams, and I want that rookie, that third-year guy now to come in and perform because we've seen it happen. Jared, you're a running back and a linebacker guy. Do we see 4-3 defense at all this year with those three? Do we see a 5-2 with one of those guys on the edge somewhere? I mean, how do you get all three of those guys involved? They're all great football players.
Yeah, fortunately, we have a great linebacking core and a nickel cornerback. So what you're going to see, I think, if, like Patrick said, if Milano's healthy, you're going to see Bernard and Milano. There's no question about it. Those two are going to be a wrecking ball coming through that middle. But if by chance Milano isn't healthy, Dorian Williams is a hell of a guy to have coming in for the number 3 there. And I don't think we're in a bad situation with that setup. I think Dorian Williams proved it last year when he was playing. He was leading the league in tackles. I wanted to see him make a little bit more contact with the linemen and stuff coming up, but I don't think that's how linebacker play is like it was back in the 80s and 90s. It's more of a get up the field quick and beat that block. So pretty much what I'm saying is any one of those three combinations could be great. Bernard's going to be great. Milano and Williams, whoever's in there, is going to be the right person at the right time. And you're talking about 4-3 defense, nickel. I think Taron Johnson, yet another year, one of the Buffalo Bills unsung heroes year in and year out. He's getting up there in age, but he's also getting wiser. So it's going to be interesting to see how those 4 guys mix and mingle throughout the season. And you'll probably see different packages, which would be great, but we'll see what happens. But I'm hopeful for the 3 linebackers that have to fill 2 positions.
It's a nice spot to be in, considering a couple years ago in the playoffs, we were desperate. We brought in players that were playing for the Bills. I love A.J. Klein. You see ball, get ball. But that was a guy that they brought in desperation, and it sucked seeing that. Now we got depth there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's also a good chance, especially with those 3. And obviously McDermott will get a better idea once training camp and all that, and they actually put the pads on and start going. But you could probably see almost a rotation between all 3 of them, just like you do with the defensive line. Mm-hmm. If it's working, hey, do it.
Yep,
I agree. 9:26, guys. We got 4 minutes to talk about something. I have another topic to bring up. Obviously, training camp. Do you guys realize that there is an NFL football game this month?
Yes.
July 31st is the Hall of Fame game. So we are in a month that there will be live football action. I'm excited for it. But more importantly, training camp starts. And we know the Buffalo Bills are in a position where would you guys agree with me to say there's probably not anybody in the free agency still available that would come in and replace who we already have? Is that a safe bet for both you guys?
No.
Who do you got, Patrick? Who do you still want to? Who would you love to see come in?
Probably, honestly, if they can figure out a way to do it, and I would just do it just to get a little bit of depth, would be Rasul Douglas. I think he's still somebody. Again, he's still available, which is shocking to me. Maybe he just
I don't know that.
But we saw what he did the last 2 years when he came to us. I think that was one of the best trade deadline moves I've seen Brandon Beane do in a long time. Yep. And again, I know there's the stuff going on with Maxwell Harrison. I think that's all going to get taken care of before the start of the season. but I would almost probably try to sign Douglas just in case, because then you have that person right there that already knows the system.
There you go. There's a couple players I'm surprised are still available. Justin Simmons, Rasul Douglas, still both defensive backs there, and one's a safety. Okay. Jared, are you pretty okay with the roster we have, or do you think there's someone still out there we can bring in? Or is there someone out there we'd like to see him bring in? Cap aside.
Yeah, I've been out of commission for a couple weeks and been camping and stuff, so I haven't been really paying attention to free agency, to be honest with you. No, how many players they have on the roster now? Do you know?
91.
Okay, so they've got okay.
Dwayne Hyde,
We'll see.
Would be amazing to raise a banner in a brand new stadium in 2026 from Kitchener, Canada. Welcome, Dwayne Hyde from Canada. Alan Lark says, don't forget to check out the NFL Network show on Jim Kelly, A Football Life. I saw the program today. It was fantastic. Oh, hell yeah. I brought up training camp, guys. We'll talk about one more topic. Give yourselves a minute or two to talk about this. Training camp is coming up. I mentioned I thought our depth was okay. Patrick brought in the whole Rasul Douglas would be a nice addition just in case Maxwell Harrison gets a punishment. What position battle? Pick one, offensively or defensively. Pick a position battle that you're most excited to see, because with the way the Bills' depth is, we're going to see plenty of reps in these positions with these battles. Just potentially see who will be starting week 1 against the Ravens. Who you got, Jared? I'll start with you. Who's your position battle? Ion.
Well, offense is pretty much set. The receivers maybe will battle out, but it'll be interesting to see who those back two safeties are going to be. I think they got 4 or 5 guys they could pick from. They got a couple weeks of training camp and a couple preseason games to figure it out, but it's going to be interesting to see who the first 2 guys are out there in week 1. I think, that's going to be interesting to see the secondary, the cornerbacks, and the safeties. That battle is going to be the interesting part, because if they can find the right guys for that, that's when you're going to see the increase in sacks and pressures and stuff like that. So mine's going to be the secondary.
There you go. What say you, Mr. Hughes?
Mine's going to be the linebackers. I mean, again, we know there's we have the solid 3 there, and who ends up being the guy that's not the full-time starter. And you know what? It's not a bad, and you look at the 3, like we said, the 3 that we have, it's not a bad problem to have. And let's be honest, they're just going to motivate each other to get even better. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the linebackers.
You know what? I was going there too. Jared took away the safeties from me, but it's not my starting linebackers that I'm most hopeful for. I think the Bills, if Milano's healthy, Bernard is Bernard. I think you'll see them. I think that linebacker group may be the one you see most out there being moved around to see what they have to offer. I'm a huge fan of, I think we all are, the home guy, Joe Andreessen. Yeah. And he's made a splash, obviously, in mini camp. Obviously, there's no pads, all that stuff, and it's easy to do that. But I'm very interested. Braylon Spector's injury prone. He's still there in Buffalo. Ulofoshio is still there. He's always been on the practice squad or the inactive list. But they have a slew of backup linebackers that I can't wait to see the battle between those guys. But I have really, really high hope for Joe Andreessen. I think that'll be something, man, 4 linebackers that can do it all. I think that'd be pretty amazing for sure.
I have a quick yes or who'd you pick question for you guys. And I don't know how updated this is, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. In the wide receiver room, we're talking about free agents. Ready? Pick one. Who you want? Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, or Gabriel Davis?
I like Gabe.
I'd have to go. I'll rank them. I'll probably go Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Gabriel Davis. Cooper and Davis, okay, because they've played with Josh, they know him, but man, I still like the idea of possibly bringing in Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, yeah,
he's the dude, a solid route runner, and if you want to teach somebody that doesn't have that, speed that they all say that Coleman lacks, being able to run routes perfectly will help with that big time.
Yep. There's, I think I just looked up Stat Track, and those 3 guys, those are the top 3 receivers still available, I think. So the money problem.
Facebook feed.
Well, Well, lost our Facebook feed. I just see that warning. Jared, since you brought up the damn topic, any one of those guys out of the top 5, who are you replacing then?
Yeah, I don't know. My guy Prather.
He'd be a 6, right? I got top 5 as being Keon Coleman, Shakir, Palmer, Moore, and Sanders. Not Sanders. Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
So he'd be you're looking for a number 6. I would not mind Gabe Davis at 6 or Keenan Allen at 6.
Dropping stuff.
It's also one of those other guys, also don't end up being a roster cut. I mean, there's so much talent, and a lot of it is raw talent in the wide receiver spot that, look, I don't think it's going to happen, but you could still see easily that a guy like Curtis Samuel might be on his way out.
Yep. For sure. All right. Well, I had a great show, Patrick and Jared. Thanks for joining. Bills Mafia, the fan base, the 24/7 Buff Fandemonium followers. Thank you so much for following us tonight, leaving comments. It was a fun show. Swank wasn't with us, lost internet. My computer went crazy. Corey left us because of internet. Kind of a weird night, but we got through it. We had a fun conversation. We always end the night with a final thought. Jared, leave us with something. Patrick, you'll be next with a final thought. And tell us where people could find you, more about your show, my friend. I like what you guys are doing there, so share that with the rest of the guys. Jared, we'll start with you.
Yeah. Be on the lookout for your neighbor. Be in a good way, support them. I say that because we had a tornado run through here yesterday, and we got some friends that we know that were affected by it. I know down in Texas, they're getting hit with flash floods. There's a lot of heat waves going on. So just call up family, friends that that are in those places, make sure they're okay. And then, we had this big movement on TikTok the last 2 weeks. It's dads supporting dads. And I want to extend that more, men supporting men, women supporting women. Let's support each other. Let's not be quick to jump on judging and judging people on what you see. You got to remember that they're coming from a different background, or there's some building up to how they react sometimes. So don't be quick to judge, but be quick to support. I think that's hard for us to do sometimes, but let's just start supporting each other a little bit more. Again, call up your family and friends. Check on them. You never know how they're affected by all this stuff that's going on in this world today. I can't wait for James Cook camp tomorrow. We're taking the boys. They're going to have a hell of an experience. Us dads are going to be out far away watching because we're not allowed in, unless you pay extra money, of course. But we're going to have fun. So I can't wait to see everybody Tuesday. My computer worked this week. I'm so happy for it. And I can't wait to see y'all next week. Go Bills.
I think it's Corey's computer.
They're sharing internet.
Yeah.
What's up, Patrick? Give us your final thought, my friend, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah. So, just like Jared said, you never know what people are going through these days. Reach out. Best thing you could do is, just make sure they know you're there. Also, told me to tell you. So, catch me, Corey, Buffalo Spartan, on the Buffalo World Order. We are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m., especially this week. This week we have a special guest in Bill's dad. I am looking forward to that one big time.
I'm happy for you guys. It's going to be fun.
Oh, for sure. Again, thanks, Patrick and BWO Buffalo World Order. Check them out, guys. It's a fun podcast. We got a fun day tomorrow, Jared. I can't wait for it. I would be remiss to mention our sponsor again, 26 Shirts and Buffalo World Order. We are part of the Buff Fan Base Network. Check them out. Hit up 26 Shirts. Keep your eye out for MafiaCon information. It is next Saturday, I believe. Your boy here at the K-Gun Report will be there representing, just working out a few other kinks. But can't wait to see you there. Training camp's right around the corner, guys. We got a lot to talk about coming up soon. Position battles, all that good stuff. And next thing you know, we're celebrating regular season Rager, September 6th, guys. It's not on Labor Day weekend. More information. We already have the event out on Facebook, so check it out. But Mark Maddox, Help One Foundation, we raise money for food truck, retro taco, popcorn vendor, and Tony's Popcorn. Reinvention Brewery, great beer, great stuff going on. It's a fun event. It's a full Saturday, September 6th. Mark it on your calendar. We can't wait to see you there. As always, 8:30 Tuesday, the K-Gun Report. Love you all. Thanks for joining. And again, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.